Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Gadigal people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Monday, May 8. In Squiz Kids Today, King Charles throws a party. Israel's 3D-printed fish burger. Magic Round's new star dolphin, and Tay-Tay has something to say. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
Funny hats, a golden orb, yawning princes, a massive sword, Katy Perry, and a fighter jet flyover. The coronation of King Charles III on the weekend pretty much had it all. And in an event watched by millions all over the world, the likes of which the world hasn't seen for 70 years, a man who happens to have been the firstborn in a family that lays claim to the British throne had a crown plonked on his head to become the King of England. And, while he's at it, the king of 14 other countries around the world, including Australia and New Zealand. Under rainy skies, thousands turned out in the streets of London to catch a glimpse of the new King Charles III and his wife, Queen Consort Camilla. He's known as King Charles III because two other kings called Charles have sat on the throne before him. Both of them were king back in the late 1600s, so almost 400 years ago. And while the British monarchy has a long and fascinating history, many of the countries over which Charles III is king, including Australia and New Zealand, are discussing plans to become what's called a republic, which is to say, politely excusing themselves from having a British king as their head of state and going it alone. None of that, though, had any impact on the big coronation celebrations in London, though, with the party wrapping yesterday with a big pop concert near Windsor Castle, just outside of London, starring Katy Perry, who you might say is kind of like pop music royalty herself. I've stuck a link to a photo gallery of the big day in today's episode notes. Hey, Queensland! Yes, you, with all your sunshine and autumn warmth. Get ready for a dose of winter, with reports that a cold snap is on its way this week and could see temperatures drop below freezing in some parts of the state. After thunderstorms on Monday afternoon, the Weather Bureau predicts a cold front will make mornings for the remainder of the week very chilly in the Sunshine State. Oh dear, might have to get the Ugg boots out.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Israel, where 3D-printed fish and chips is on the menu. What the what? You know how with a 3D printer you can pretty much create anything, right? From houses to medical devices to furniture to toys. Well, thanks to the work of some very clever scientists, you can also print food. I know, right? Nuts! 3D printed fish fillets are made by extracting cells from a groper fish, then growing them into muscle and fat, then adding those cells to a special bio-ink in a 3D printer, and hey presto, a lab-grown fish fillet is printed. The company behind the fake fish fillet says lab-grown meat is a great way to prevent overfishing of our oceans and good for the environment. Fake fillet of fish burger. Yeah, I could be up for that.
Sport time.
And after 3 days of non-stop rugby league action, the NRL Magic Round has come to a close, and footy was once again the winner on the day. And while there were lots of big storylines to come out of the many clashes that took place at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, one standout was the fairy tale debut of Dolphins rookie Valence Tefare. Rookie is a term often used in sport reporting to describe someone who is new and only just starting out. Now, up until a couple of years ago, Valence had only ever played rugby union in his home country of New Zealand. But at the Dolphins' invitation, he moved to Brisbane and threw himself into league because, as he told reporters after the Dolphins' 36-16 win over the Sharks on Saturday, he figured he had nothing to lose. The fairy tale ended with Valance scoring not once, but twice in his very first NRL game on Saturday night in front of an ecstatic home crowd, and a very proud bunch of family members who had flown in from New Zealand. I've stuck a link in today's episode notes to a lovely moment at the end of the game where Valance performs the haka for his family in the stands. You're welcome.
Pop Culture Corner.
Tay-Tay fans were saying yay yay over the weekend. Yeah, I know, bad dad joke. After the singer-songwriter announced she'd be dropping a new album of old songs at the start of July. Swiftie first released the album Speak Now back in 2010, so almost 13 years ago. But then she lost control of the master recordings, which are the original tapes, if you like. Determined to take back ownership of her music, Tay-Tay has spent the past couple of years re-recording the songs she lost control of and re-releasing them. So far, there's been Taylor's version of her early albums Fearless and Red, and now we'll have Taylor's version of Speak Now. Her last album release, Midnights, was 2022's biggest selling record of the year. So, you know, this one will be a thing too. Hello, Squiz Kids. Just a quick message to let you know that Squiz Kids has a new team member. I know, right? Exciting. Her name is Joni, and she'll be hosting her very first edition of the podcast tomorrow. So, I want you all to make her feel very welcome. Have you ever joined a new sporting team, or maybe been the new kid at school? Well, that's what it's like when you start a new job. So, let's all be on our best behaviour tomorrow and make sure Joni feels the Squiz Kids love. And if you wanted to meet her beforehand, keep listening at the end of this podcast, where I have a little chat to her to welcome her aboard the good ship Squiz Kids.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. In which country are 3D-printed fish fillets being made? Yeah, that's right, it's Israel. Question number 2. What sport did NRL's new hero Valance Tefare play in New Zealand? Yeah, that's right, he played rugby union. Question number 3. In which century did the two previous King Charles sit on the British throne? Well done if you got that one. It was the 1600s.
Shout outs.
It's May 8. The MTV Music Video Awards take place today, and the world-renowned Westminster Dog Show starts in New York today. Well, that's my day sorted. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Mason from Montmorency, Zoe from Roos, Jeff and Bo from Pitttown, Izzy from Jindalee, and twins Grutzi and Charmant from Frankstown. Belated shout-outs go to Nicholas from Darling Point, Abigail from Doncaster, Indy from Glen Huon, and Vidu, who's listening all the way over there in Woodinville in the USA. And we're back to our huge list of classroom shout-out requests. Bear with us if you've sent in a classroom shout-out request, we're working our way through them. And today, it's a special shout-out to Class 5-6E and Miss Fernandez at St Joseph's Primary School in Springvale, Mrs Doherty's class at Helensvale State School, and a very warm welcome to a new class member, Alfie, to Class 5M and Mrs Narunsky at St Michael's Catholic Primary School in Daceyville, to Class 6T and Miss Tolmie at Singleton Heights Public School, and finally to Class 5ST and Mrs Twig at Chatham Primary School in Surrey Hills, Victoria. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. Keep listening if you want to meet Joni, who's going to be doing the podcast tomorrow. Otherwise, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out. Hello there, Squiz Kids. We have a new team member here at Squiz Kids HQ, and I want you all to make her feel very welcome. Squiz Kids, allow me to introduce you to Joni Jones.
Hi Bryce, hi Squiz Kids. I'm so excited to be here.
We are very excited to have you here. Now, Joni, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've worked for many years as a journalist. I live in Bondi in Sydney, which is great because I love going down to the beach.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a mum of 4 kids.
4 kids? Wowzers, that must keep you busy.
It sure does. My oldest is Lola. She's just turned 10. And then it's Florence. She's 6 years old. And I have 4-year-old twins, Harry and Winnie. We listen to Squiz Kids every morning on the way to school. It's our favourite podcast.
That's very cool. And a big shout out to Lola, Florence, Harry and Winnie from me too. And a big thank you for giving us a loan of your mum. Now, let's get to know you a little bit better, Joni. Tell us, what is your favourite segment on Squiz Kids and why?
Ooh, it'll have to be Spin the Globe.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love news and I love learning about things that happen all over the world.
Yes, good point. What about, who would you say is your favourite musician or pop star?
I love so many. I love Harry Styles, to Dua Lipa, Florence and the Machine,
Cool.
The White Stripes,
Nice.
and Dolly Parton. Yeah, I love all kinds of music.
Who doesn't love Dolly Parton? What about your favourite book? What's your favourite book?
Well, I'm so lucky that I've been able to read the Harry Potter series again with my kids.
Oh, nice.
Do you know, Bryce, we have even visited the film set in London where they made the movies and got to ride broomsticks.
Wow.
I'm serious.
Actually flew through the air on a broomstick.
Well, the broomstick is attached to the wall behind you, but the movie magic behind you looks like you're flying through the streets of London.
That's unbelievable. I need to do me some of that. On the subject of Harry Potter, who would you say is your favourite character?
It would have to be Hermione because she loved books and she does her homework.
And she got crazy hair? You have crazy hair?
And she's got crazy hair.
Your hair never looks that crazy when I've seen you. It's perfectly fine. What do you reckon, where do you think the sorting hat would put you in Harry Potter? Which house do you think he would put you into?
I think I'd be friends with Hermione, so it would definitely be Gryffindor.
Everyone says Gryffindor. I think I did a test once and it told me I was going to be in Slytherin, which I think that's good. I'm happy about that. That's all right. They sometimes the most interesting ones. Now, one final question. If you were going to be dropped on a desert island for 6 months and you could only have one food the entire time you were there, what would that food be?
Did you say desert or did you say dessert? I think that would be better, an island of chocolate. That would have to be my answer.
Excellent call. There you have it, folks. Squiz Kids' new team member, Joni Jones, in a nutshell. You'll be hearing from Joni and our other excellent team member, Christy, more and more over the coming weeks, so be sure to make them feel both very welcome. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to have yourselves a most excellent day. Over and out.